Hello and welcome to The Healing Way. My name is Richard Clark, and on this video I will be working out methods and talking about things, discussing where I am at the moment with the healing methods and how I see things. This is one of my working out videos, so I can try and develop things, and also it's useful for people who can look at these videos, can get an idea of how things were achieved and the stepping stones towards the methods. I'm currently working on step 5, which, if everything holds to plan, will embody the strong effect. So we're working through the 4 forces of nature. We've got methods that embody or utilise electromagnetism, the weak effect or the weak interaction, gravity, and working towards the strong effect or the strong interaction. It was interesting for me to see that, looking on Wiki, that the Higgs field has been added to the other 4 fields, so we now have 5 fields or effects or interactions, and I will be developing a method that hopefully will utilise the Higgs field, which I think will embody Earth, which will be represented by Earth. Now, when I talk about science, I want to make it clear I'm not a scientist. I can only talk in the very most general terms, and by talking about science I'm not trying to gain credibility for my methods. They can stand or fall on their own merits. They don't need propping up by some other discipline. But the reason I do try and bring in these things is simply so that to make it easier to understand. Maybe people can relate to what I'm doing through what science does, but there is no strong scientific thread running through my work. It is purely perceptive, intuitive, and what's worked out through experience. It's pragmatic. Okay, it's interesting, while we're on these fields, it's interesting for me to say that while I can perceive electromagnetic field, I can perceive energy radiating, I cannot perceive gravity. I get absolutely nothing at all on gravity, and I get absolutely nothing at all on the strong interaction. By that I mean I cannot perceive them. I can perceive the Higgs field, or at least I perceive it in a different way. What I saw was particles passing through a field, and as they pass through the field they gain density. That's how it looked to me. They gain density. When I read that the field can withdraw mass from particles, that came as a complete surprise, because I've never seen that. All I've seen is particles, what I assume is particles, shapes, passing through a field, and as they pass through the field they gain density. It appears to me as density. And this also is at the very edge of the universe. The feeling I got was the universe is being created. At its edge, the field operates, creating the universe, and it carries on. It expands. It seems like it expands. When it became a local phenomenon, scientists were talking about the Higgs field, and you could use it, duplicate it in a laboratory or study it in a laboratory. That was a surprise, because to me it wasn't here, it was out there. Now, whether out there is here as well, who knows? These fields, while are perceivable for some of us, they are totally beyond comprehension, to me anyway. But I can perceive 3 out of 5. Now, for some reason, gravity and the strong interaction I do not get anything on, and I'm getting the feeling that the science isn't right. That's the feeling I get. There is some problem there. The scientists haven't figured it all out, or have gone down the wrong road, or the feeling I get is that the strong effect and gravity are somehow interconnected. They are in a relationship. One is a minor part of the other one, or a side effect of the other one. They're connected in some way. Anyway, that's for the scientists. So looking at where I'm at the moment, I'm studying the oil that I've come to now, which is linseed oil. You can buy a bottle in most hardware shops in the UK. I got this for £2.50, I think. And it's a big bottle, half a litre. And it's the oil that gets rubbed into wood, mainly. I remember it from school where they used to say you rub linseed oil onto cricket bats. What else you do with it now, I don't know, decking perhaps or something like that. But linseed oil is brilliant oil. It is, I'm going to add it to the repertoire as a power oil. So it's one of 3 power oils now. So this is used exactly the same as flaxseed oil, usual one, and olive oil. So we've got 3 power oils now: linseed, flaxseed and olive. And on first use, sprinkle a small amount of aspirin on the oil. So you'd use exactly the same. You'd use 1 or 2 drops on a pad of cotton wool, sprinkle a little bit of aspirin on it, and then with a bit of tape, have it so the oil is face up, not the oil to the skin, but the pad to the side that hasn't got the oil goes to the skin. And usually it's inside the forearms. I mean, I've been working with it today, and the person I was working on, I virtually got covered in it, covered in the pads. It's throat, base of the neck, between the shoulder blades, lower back, in between the wrist and the elbow on the forearms, 3 each arm, and I think that was it. Yeah, use a lot of it, but it's a very good oil, linseed oil. That's a nice oil, very nice. Now then, what next? Well, with linseed oil goes putty. So I'm now working with putty. I'm studying the effects of putty. Now putty is linseed oil mixed with chalk. And putty, if you don't know if it's peculiar to this country or the West or whatever, you don't know what putty is, it's a material that's used mainly for glazing. You use it for putting windows in, holding in windows. Okay? But its actual composition is chalk. So again, Wiki tells me. I wouldn't know any of this if it wasn't for Wikipedia. But it's chalk mixed with linseed oil. Now what I've been doing, it's a material that you will put on your skin if you use this method. I'm not sure where this method is, if it's actually a genuine next step or if it's just some intermediate step. I'm not sure. I'm working with it at the moment. I wanted to post it just so that I could give it some thought. Because quite often these videos, they actually help me to work things out. So you have to put up with me just going on and working stuff out. Right, putty. Now then, why putty? Well, let's take the batteries, for instance. Putty is a humanising substance. It is very close to the human energy, human condition. It is very close to us. Don't be offended if I say that we are very similar to linseed oil mixed with chalk, but the energy is very close. Now then, what's the problem? Well, the problem is, when I use the batteries, a lot of the energy is very good. There's electrical energy and the electromagnetic field. Now the electromagnetic field allows processes to work within it. It's probably true of the planet. We're surrounded by an electromagnetic field, the Earth is, and within that field all the processes work, the life processes and all kinds of processes, chemical processes. Okay, so it works, it's a facilitator, the electromagnetic field. Now the energy is very good for us. The energy in the battery, it moves into the body, and it's very good for us because we are electrical in nature. We are essentially storage batteries, mobile storage batteries. Our brains are electrical, our nervous systems are electrical, probably our thoughts are electrical, electrochemical. So there is an awful need, great need, for electrical energy in us. Now then, there's a need for another energy that is much more human. One of the problems I've tried to get round over the years is how to get the energy of substances as close as possible to human energy, so that the human body can absorb it and utilise it very well. It's easily absorbed. And there's an energy that in the battery that we need but we can't absorb, or electrical energy. So what happens is we need a substance that the energy can pass through on its way to the body, and that substance changes the energy, or at least it makes it, it humanises it. It's the only word I can put to it. It humanises it. It makes the energy more human, more accessible. Not accessible, more, the human is more able to assimilate it. Okay? So take a battery. These are my usual rechargeables, 240 ones. You fully charge the battery and then get a small piece of putty and place it on the end of the battery, like so. You can see that. There's the battery, and on the end is a small piece of putty. Take another small piece of putty, another battery, charged, or if you're using single-use batteries you needn't worry, but rechargeable are the ones for me because all I do is use batteries and oils just lately. And place a small piece of putty on the plus end. I should have said that. It's the plus end of the battery. The plus end where the terminal is. You'll see if I can show. You see the terminal at the end, as opposed to the flat end, which is the minus end. You want this end. And just push a piece of putty on the top. Simple. Okay. Right, so what do we do now? Well, I'm still working on this method, but basically it's, as I say, a way of, as the energy passes from the battery into the human, it's a way of humanising the energy, making it more acceptable. So where do you put the battery? Where do you place it? The places I've been using today on myself, just to see, were the throat. So you get two batteries and just place either side of the windpipe. You only need to hold them there for a minute or two. There is a huge transfer of energy, and it's a huge transfer of the right kind of energy. Okay. So the throat. Just for a couple of minutes. Then I tried either side of the, on the neck, either side of the spine. I don't know if that's too visible. Like that. Again, for about 2 minutes. If you're sensitive, you'll feel the energy flow and you'll feel yourself filling up. And when you're filled, it goes ding, and that's it, it's done. It might be worth testing your skin with the putty. This is the first time I've actually put materials directly on the skin. It's nearly always, well, it is always cotton wool or plastic bags. Now the putty acts as the medium. So if you like, the putty is taking the place of the cotton wool. So the energy is still passing through a medium, it's just a more solid medium now, earth medium, putty. Another couple of points I tried was the temples. Just hold the batteries on the temples. Just for a couple of minutes. That is. Whew. Whoa. Whew, that's strong. Okay, another way I tried it, it was a person I was working on. It's got an injured knee, so I tried just placing the ends of the batteries, the putty ends, on the knee joint. It's a nice little technique. You can get a lot of energy in, and it's, as I say, human type energy. You don't have to think a lot more about that. Linseed oil, putty, yeah, it's good stuff. I don't feel it's going to become a method on its own. I feel this is, people are going to take this and use it in a specialised way. I don't think it's going to be particularly mainstream, but who knows. Yeah, with the putty, just make sure you're not allergic to any of it. You know, it's the first time I've said put stuff directly on the body. You can try injuries, broken arms, dodgy knees, pain, anything you like, just try. But I would try it, if you do try this method, and it's early days, it's only prototype method, but if you do try it, I would wait until your body's used to the other energies. I would go through a few steps, the healing with energy steps, get up to 3 or 4, so your body is well used to absorbing and assimilating these energies. So I'd make sure you were there first. I wouldn't rush in with this straight away. Might be good for an emergency treatment. If there was broken bones and there was pain. It could well be. I'm not in any pain, luckily, so I can't try it out on pain, but it has just occurred to me it might be pain relief. It might well be pain relief. Just place a battery with putty on the end. Because as I say, the humanising energy that goes through, the human energy, is quite phenomenal. Don't do anything silly, like put them in your eyes, or stick them up your nose, or try to swallow them, okay? Remember, you've got to be sensible with this stuff, otherwise it looks bad on all of us. Just try, what do I do, throat, temples? Yeah, it might be worth trying the ears. There's a lot to work on anyway. Right, well, this is just something, a work one for me, just working stuff out. There's a lot of progress going on, a lot of stuff coming along, so it's all working well. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and you'll see me on the next one. Thank you. Cheerio.